Hey Lorain County Hoops fans, and welcome back to another episode of In the Paint, brought to you by our friends at First Federal Savings of Lorain. I'm your host Rocco Nucci with the one and only Kristen Bauer behind the camera. Before we get rolling this week, make sure you like and subscribe to that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. That's the best way to find all the latest videos, all of the latest content, and just keep up to date with what's happening in Lorain County sports. Again, make sure you like and subscribe to that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. So what the heck happened in this past week of action? Well, a lot of teams getting their first victory of the young new season. First and foremost, those Elyria Pioneers on the boys' side, they get a huge win this past Friday over Bay. 66-58 was the final score. On paper, you look at these two rosters, Bay had a clear height advantage. They got three guys that stand 6'4" or taller. So Coach Brett Larrick certainly had his hands full on Friday night, but they game planned it well. They used their speed and their athleticism and a lot of their talented guard play to get past the Rockets. Ryan Walsh led the way with 18 points. Sophomore Jaden Crutcher continues his hot start to the season. He had 15. And how about freshman Cam Bell, folks? He steps in for the injured BJ Todd, and boy, they don't skip a beat. Cam pours in 12 points, all 12 of those coming on the perimeter. He made 4 3-point shots in that win over Bay, so freshman Cam Bell deserves a shout out for his effort in the Pioneers' win over Bay. How about those Keystone Wildcats? They get a huge rivalry road victory last Friday night over Wellington. 65-30 was the final score, but if you watch the first half of that one, you wouldn't have thought that's how it would end. Keystone was up just 5 points at the half, but they outscored Wellington 31-11 in the third quarter to really put that game away. Junior Grant Hartley, he continues a hot start to the campaign. 22 points, a team high in the Wildcats win. A huge third quarter from Connor Rodick, the quarterback of the football team, a name that we're all very familiar with at this point. Connor had 13 of his 17 in that third quarter. So really, again, a 20-point difference for Keystone in that third quarter helped propel them to victory. Elsewhere in the Lorain County League, Brookside knocked off Firelands 68-50. 22 points for Avery Young. This is a Brookside team that could go real far based off, some very talented guard play. It all kind of starts with Avery Young and a nice 22-point outing for him in that win over the Falcons. Black River traveled over to Knightstown, Indiana, and we've seen a couple of teams do this before where they played at the Hoosier Gym. If you don't know what that is, it's from the movie Hoosiers, home of the fictitious Hickory Huskers, as Black River defeated Loudonville 72-51. And I encourage you to go to chroniclet.com, check out some photos from that game. Really, really cool. The sidelines are real small. It's only a 600-person capacity. It's real tight-knit. You can kind of hurt yourself diving for loose balls, so definitely check out some photos over at chroniclet.com. The team, Black River that is, watched the movie the night before. It was very, very cool. Eric Grosser led the way for them. He had 20 points. A double-double for Evan Ladina. He had 14 points and 10 rebounds. Quickly on the girls' side, I should give a shout-out to Elyria Catholic. They get a 54-34 win over Rocky River. Carter McRae, 18 points, 16 rebounds, and 6 blocks. And finally, on the boys' side last week, Lorain, a huge victory on Friday over Bedford, 44-36, their first win of the season. They had a disappointing outing against Avon Lake earlier in the week. So for Coach Kalian and his crew over there at Lorain, that was a big bounce-back victory again on Friday over at Bedford, 44-36. Ike Rouser led the way with 12 points. Before I tell you what's coming up this week as far as the basketball action is concerned, I want to give a bit of a college spotlight, if you will, on a former Lorain County athlete that now is doing his thing at the next level, his or her thing, I should say. This week it is a him, though, in the form of former Lorain Titans standout Jameer Billings, a 2021 graduate from Lorain. He's now a sophomore at the College of Worcester. He was the North Coast Athletic Conference Athlete of the Week this past week. That's the third time that he's earned that award. Again, he's just a sophomore, so pretty impressive there. In this past week, Worcester went 2-0. Billings averaging over 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in those 2 games. So a nice past week for Jameer. Last season, he was the newcomer of the year and the defensive player of the year in his conference. So he just continues to grow, continues to shine over there now as a sophomore at Worcester. So coming up this week in Lorain County on the girls' side, Avon Lake at Avon. This will be a good one as the Shore Gals are coming off a huge comeback win and a bit of a surprising one last weekend over at North Ridgeville. 51-46 was the final score there. That's a huge victory for first-year head coach Paul Apple, so we'll see what Avon Lake can do against Avon in a rivalry game there. Amherst is at North Ridgeville as the Lady Rangers try to bounce back again after falling to Avon Lake. The Comets, though, got a win earlier this week over Vermilion, so that should be a good clash there. And Midview this weekend is traveling up to Lansing, Michigan, where they will take on Lansing Catholic. I know that's a game that Coach Brittany McNamara Cole is very, very excited for her girls to be a part of. Quickly on the boys' side, Friday night, Brookside is at Keystone, Elyria is at Avon, Olmsted Falls is at North Ridgeville, where the Rangers are off to a 3-0 start, taking on the defending SWC champs. That should be a lot of fun. And finally, Bay at Elyria Catholic. That game can be heard on WEOL Friday night and at WEOL.com. So that'll do it for this week's episode of In the Paint. For Kristen Bauer, I'm Rocco Nushi saying once again, thank you for watching In the Paint, brought to you by our friends at First Federal Savings of Lorain. We'll see you next week.